You ready, Ron?
Yes, sir.
Welcome to Leadership Breakfast at First Baptist Church. You know, it's a Monday. We're going to get rain this week. You know, we're going to get some relief from the dry weather. And this week, here as we go toward Thanksgiving, we're going to go through the 7th chapter of Mark. And then again, it's another series of big stories where Jesus is showing us what this new way of thinking is all about. And we're going to focus on verse 7:15, and we'll hear it this morning. And the whole theme this week, it's what comes out of us is what defines us. And here it is, you know, anytime Jesus encounters these religious leaders, the religious leaders are always testing on Jesus and poking at him and prodding at him. And I know that when you look at some of the authority figures in your life, some of the tougher teachers that you have, some of the administrators that you have, you know, maybe it's a relative, maybe it's one of your brothers or sisters, you know, maybe it's just somebody in the neighborhood. But how many of us have somebody that we can look at and say, well, that person just enjoys taking a sharp stick and just poking me in the ribs? Everybody? Does everybody have somebody in their life, young man, that somebody in their life that just takes great pleasure in making your life miserable? And you know, and whether that authority figure, whether it's right or wrong, that's just a fact of life. So here Jesus and his disciples, they're encountering these religious leaders, these Pharisees again. And this time it's because Jesus' disciples, they're eating without having gone through this ritualistic hand washing process. So how many of you guys went through some special hand washing process before you started eating today? This young lady? This young man? You know, we think washing our hand, we think that washing our hands, you know, just get our hands washed and we're good to eat. And that's kind of the way Jesus' disciples had gone about life. But here these religious leaders, they go, oh no, because they didn't do their special hand washing this special way, then all that food they're eating, well, it's all just, you know, not holy either. You know, they're just standing back. You know, oh, these poor guys, you know, these poor sinful guys. And they end up, these religious leaders are just, you know, missing the whole point of life. And that's what Jesus points out to them. You're worried about your particular little rules. Like, isn't it polite to show respect and pay attention when somebody's speaking? You know, this is what the new way of thinking is about. This is what the new way of thinking is about. These Pharisees were worried about whether these young men had washed their hands properly or not, and Jesus is worried about what's in their hearts and what's in their soul. I'm not worried about what brought you to the College Street Learning Center. That doesn't impact my view of you. What impacts my view of you is what I think is coming out of your heart. You know, you've been judged your whole life by somebody's rules. You don't make up your room the right way. You're too hard to get up in the morning. You're not doing your homework. You know, you're not tying your shoes. You're not pulling your sagging britches up. People worried about their rules. You're not wearing the right colored shirt to school. You don't wear the right colored pants to school. Your hair's the wrong color. Your hair's the wrong length. Rule after rule after rule. And guess what? I'm not here to judge you based upon those rules. I'm here to try to encounter you heart to heart. I'm trying to encounter what it is that's inside you. I'm searching for that thing that's inside you that is the good. And we're trying to grow and we're trying to nurture that is good inside you. Because as Jesus pointed out to the Pharisees, whether these boys have washed their hands or not, whether they've eaten the right foods or not, that's not going to either save them or condemn them. It's what's coming out of their hearts. That's what Leadership Breakfast is here for. We're trying to get you a new way of thinking about what's coming out of your heart. What's coming out of your heart? What's coming out of your heart? And it's the same with adults. You know, it's the same with everybody. It's not just you 15 or 16 young people. It's what I do with everyone I encounter. What is in your heart? Because until you can get a new way of thinking about what's coming out of your heart, whether you're following the rules doesn't matter. Let me pray us out. Our Father in heaven, I pray for these young people today, Father. They're struggling with what's coming out of their heart, Father. They've not had any experience thinking this way. They're just like the Pharisees. Somebody's shown them some set of rules for them to break. There's people out there criticizing them. There's people out there holding them up and for shame and disgrace because of how they act as human beings. Father, I'm praying now that your Holy Spirit will start to inspect the hearts of each of the young people here, Father. These are bright young people. These are young people that have their whole lives in front of them. They have so much skill. They have so much energy. They have so much brain power. Father, I pray that your Holy Spirit will tap into those hearts, Father, so that it will start being this, as Mr. Drollinger is bringing us on Friday, it will be this love that starts coming out of their heart. Love that manifests itself as kindness. In the name of Son Jesus Christ, I pray, amen. So, Mr. Williams, I know he's taking it.